Grains, welcome to an episode of Crafty Misadventures for your viewing pleasure. Today's craft is really special. Some of you may know there is a huge collaboration among hundreds of YouTube channels, and this collaboration is called #Teamtrees. This initiative was started by two huge creators here on YouTube, MrBeast, who has close to 26 million subscribers. Wow. How is that even a number? And Mark Rober, who is also close to 9 million subscribers. And the initiative is that for every $1 donated, one tree will be planted somewhere in the world where it needs it the most, and it's going to be a native plant that is to that environment. Every dollar counts. Whether you can donate $1 or more, it really makes a huge difference. Our planet needs us more than ever now. And just to show you, Grains, that I am also very serious, I am donating to plant 1,000 trees. So please go ahead and click that button, whether it's $1 or if you can't, that is totally okay. Please make sure that you do spread the word. The idea is we want to make sure to raise $20 million for 20 million trees before 2020. And since YouTubers haven't always had the best reputation in the past, it's our duty to try and make sure that the mainstream media knows that we also can do pretty great things. So not only is this a collaboration with other YouTubers, this is a collaboration with our community. You Grains have as much power as we do. And so that's why today's craft is going to be a completely new clay that I haven't tried yet. This clay is called Mukunin Sun. It is a wood-based clay that is made from recycled sawdust from a pencil company. It is biodegradable, wow, English #1, and eco-friendly. So when I went to Japan a couple of weeks ago and I saw this and I knew I was doing a Teamtrees video, I figured this was the best material to work with. Will it be easy to work with?
I don't know.
Will I enjoy this?
I'm not sure.
Will I be able to sculpt something epic from it?
I said I don't know.
Oh, Salt, let's dance today. As a geek, there are so many trees out there to choose from. For example, there's Groot. There's also Treebeard from The Lord of the Rings. Of course, we can't forget Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas. And of course, various other video game type trees, like the ones in Kirby or The Legend of Zelda. And so that is why today I am going to be doing the Great Deku Tree. And the only simple reason I'm doing the Great Deku Tree is because it looks like it has a mustache. Kinda wanna do that. Come here and fight me if you have a problem! Come on. For those of you who don't know, the Great Deku Tree in Ocarina of Time, according to the wiki, is a guardian of the forest and safeguards not only the lands around it, but also the critters that live in it. And so the reason I really also wanted to do not just the great mustache, I love the mustache, just let's look at it again. What a great mustache. Is because since it is a guardian, I wanted to have my own little guardian, and I wanted to make it in a type of bonsai look. I also picked up this material from Japan that kind of looks like little leaves and little bush kind of thing. I have no idea how to use any of these materials, and that is why I am so excited. Much excited. Alright, let's get a feel for our material. In case you're wondering, this whole thing cost me about $3. Oh, it smells like a forest. Actually, I take that back. It smells exactly like if you grabbed a bunch of pencils and just started sniffing them just because you like the smell of supplies, and it doesn't make you weird at all. And now for first impressions on touching, and oh, that is dense. It actually feels like the blue tack that you would use to stick things on. Oh my god. It really does feel like blue tack. It's not particularly sticky, but to each other, it seems like it would stick. My guess is that it's going to behave close enough to air dry clay, so hopefully we can use water to make it a little more moist. I'm sorry for using that word. Oh, that smells divine. It's like an artist's dream where you're just surrounded everywhere by pencils and colored things, just art supplies. So the first thing we want to do is make our tree base. For some reason, I don't know why, I decided to choose a base that was pretty big, so I might actually need both blocks of clay. English, please today cooperate. For those of you who don't know, yes, English is my third language. And a deco tree is portrayed as this massively gorgeous piece of tree. I wanted to say piece of wood, but get your minds out of the gutter. And there are options to either make the tree with the mouth open or to keep it closed. I kind of want an in-between because I want the mustache to be very prominent, so I'm just going to make like a little crevice. Once we have the base, I'm going to be using my cutting tool to make those little lines that look like the tree, and then start creating the environment. Texture is going to be very important here, so I'm trying to texture as much as possible. One of the biggest fears I have about this clay is how much does it shrink. On the packaging itself, it really doesn't mention how much shrinkage is going to happen, so I'm really crossing my fingers that not much will. I feel like I need to explain how unpleasant it is to work with this clay. It smells nice and the texture really is nice and dense, but it dries up very quickly. I'm going to try and put on the face right now just because it keeps drying way more quickly than I can keep up and actually sculpt. Normally I like to spend anywhere between 30 and 40 hours making a sculpture, but this one here is not leaving me much of a choice but to work within maximum 2 to 3 hours. And I have to admit, I've never really done a kind of facial feature type thing that wasn't very cartoony, so this was a completely new experience for me, especially considering the clay
is just not cooperative.
I was going to attempt something just a little, maybe this much, this much. Not smart, as in pretty dumb. I really wanted to make extra branches on top and then put like cauliflower type patches a little bit of everywhere. But the more I'm working with this clay, the more I can tell you that if I try to do something that is anti-gravity, even if I put little sticks here and there, the chances of it breaking are going to be pretty high. Is that going to stop me from trying? No. So let's do it anyways, because I told you I'm not a smart cookie. So I'm using bamboo skewers to put in different sides of the head and then try and hope that the clay will stick to each other and at least that these bamboo skewers are deep enough so that it doesn't fall off. And of course, I am struggling so much to get this clay to smooth out. By golly, this better look good after. I promise there will be way more details as I'm trying to paint and put on more stuff. But do I look like I know into the future?
No, I do not.
At this point right now, I'm feeling just a little overconfident because the skewers went in smoothly. The clay was smoothed pretty smoothly, and I feel like disaster's just waiting for us around the corner. Before I can put on batches of foliage right on top, I don't want to push my luck, so I'm going to wait about 1 hour to let this piece solidify just a little bit before putting more weight, because I'm not an engineer, but I feel like if something is too much weight to like that, engineer language, that's my limit.
1 hour later.
Alright, so here I am an hour later and I am wearing a sweater because Canada, the land of the cold and maple syrup. So I did put a skewer all the way from the middle top all the way to the bottom to make sure that it is a little more stable because even after an hour it was slightly wobbly. So now in order to make my top piece, I'm going to be taking foil paper, crumpling it up a little bit, and then putting some of that clay right around it. I really don't think it's going to be stable enough to hold on its own, so I will be using the help of my glue gun. Here we are 48 hours later because holy moly, I had no idea that this clay would take forever to dry. But it makes sense, it's wet wood. A couple of you have been asking me, and yes, this is Philip DeFranco merch. It says, why be informed when you can use your feelings as facts? And interestingly enough, while I was filming this video, he commented on my previous video because it had his other merch, which is pretty cool. Thanks, Phil. I know I was a pretty needy, small creator, but I'm independent now. So as you can see, it did dry up. There were quite a few cracks here and there, but I have to admit, since we chose to make a tree, those cracks just seem natural, so I'm pretty pretty happy that we went with a tree. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my glue gun and just glue on the little blotches of trees right on top. Hopefully it'll stay because I don't even know if I put enough support, but fingers crossed. All right, now for the fun part. An airbrush. So this is only my second time ever using an airbrush for a project. I'm really excited, but also really scared because I don't know how it's going to be reacting with this kind of clay. And as we can see from the picture of the Great Deku tree, it's more of a yellowy brown rather than a reddish brown. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one here. It's a Liquitex acrylic ink. And of course we have to shake it. And let's see how that looks. By the way, since I'm really new at airbrushing, for those of you who are used to it, are you supposed to put the darker colors first or the lighter colors? I don't know. I had so much fun airbrushing this. I just really want to airbrush everything. So if you haven't gotten into airbrushing things and you're sculpting, don't be like me and wait so many years before you try it out. It's actually really fun. It's looking really cool so far. Now I'm really curious to try out these miniature model type bushy things. And I have no idea how to use it. The back does say that we can use some glue and then water and then stick it, but I don't want to do that. I just kind of want to put them randomly here and there. So I'm just going to take the tacky glue and put a little bit of the tacky glue here and there and start placing little bushes. I want them kind of to also climb a little bit, so it's, I guess, kind of like moss, but not quite moss. I felt like the little moss were just a little too bright for the whole environment, so I decided to take a little bit of those acrylic inks and dab it just a little bit with a darker green. And here is our Great Deku tree. And I can't help but think of Deku from My Hero Academia. Bonus points if you watch it. And I have to admit, for something really simple and it was really difficult to put together because of that sawdust wood recycled clay, but I'm really glad that I chose a tree. Otherwise, all the cracks would have been a little too much. But thankfully here, the cracks really look organic and they look like they were made on purpose as part of the actual tree. It just goes to show that really the devil is in the details. So the airbrushing really saved me. So please remember to check out the Arbor Day Foundation donate button. This is going to be for a huge collective. I want for the whole world to know that not just YouTubers, but the community that we have built here on the platform, we're a force to be reckoned with. Because when you're a grain, you come in like a hurricane. So if you can donate even $1, it doesn't have to be a huge amount. It makes a huge difference. That is one more tree on this planet than there was just a day ago. And if you can't donate, feel free to spread the word because it's an important milestone for many of us. At least we can look back and say, hey, we were able to do 20 million trees. That is crazy. The donate button will be available until the end of the year, hopefully until maybe even we reach the goal. Fingers crossed. So it will be on all of my videos from now on until the end. Don't forget to let me know which tree is your favorite in the fantasy, fiction, and non-fiction world. Just in the fantasy world and video gaming world. This week's shoutouts go to That's Salty, Valeria Ventura, Liz Someone, Cuterisu, Candy R, Didykins, Unicorn 2008, and myself. I don't know why I don't shout. Nobody shouts me out. I'm shouting myself. Remember, if you want to shout out, don't forget to hashtag Nerdification Squad in the comment section below within the first 5 hours of a video's release, or hashtag NerdECrafter on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook anytime with any of your creations. Until then, I will see you grains in the next video.